Okay, just to have a recap, we are working with the locator use case, and in locator use case, we have some UI like, okay, where is this locator? Internet Explorer. So we have bots DNA. We are working on virtual plots. Working on virtual plots. So we'll get the detail from Excel, and we need to remove all the extra characters, and we need to add it to this particular place. Okay, so that is the requirement, and we just need to add our values. Virtual plots. We need to add these two values at the bottom and submit it to get this transaction number. So let's go with this. So after killing all the process, we just need to download all the items. So I can just add here. Okay, now dispatcher code. Okay, this is a sequence. I can just add it as a sequence. Okay, I can add it over here. Okay, and then just add a HTTP request. Okay, so what is the difference between orchestrator HTTP request and HTTP request? Orchestrator HTTP request will work only on the orchestrator that it is connected to, but HTTP request will work just like a HTTP request and response. It will not depend on the orchestrator. So this,
But Bajrang, in which scenario we are using means orchestrator HTTP request?
no, we are using only HTTP request.
Okay. Means whenever orchestrator is connected, then we need to use orchestrator HTTP request.
No, see, for orchestrator we have queues, we have jobs and all, right? If we want to work with them, then we use that orchestrator HTTP request.
Okay, okay, okay.
Virtual plots.xlsx. So this is what I'll add. So once we have it, we will have virtual plots.xlsx. So this is the input file that I have. So instead of adding or working with, okay, instead of adding or working with the data in local, I'll just go ahead with orchestrator. So this is my orchestrator. Stopping the screen share, just a second. sharing my screen back. Let me know once you're able to see it. Can you see the screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So here are my queues. Okay, I'll go with my workspace. Let's see how things will work. So to work with my workspace, I just need to change it from here. It's my workspace, that's fine. So I'm creating something called a queue, a new queue that's with virtual plots. Queue. So when I create this queue, where should I add this value?
Get queue item. Oh, sorry, bulk queue load.
Before doing that, you just need to add it in the config. Okay, where do we store our orchestrator assets?
Configuration assets.
So data, config. So this is my orchestrator name. So it was process ABCQ. Now it's changed to virtual plots. And this also changed to framework virtual plots. Okay, did you get it now? So this is the important thing to add items to queue. Now, okay, this will download the data, but first after that we need to read the data, right? Is it right or not?
Data is read in transaction, get transaction.
Get transaction data, we are reading one item at a time, but we just need to read all the data information that is downloaded.
Okay.
So here we have virtual plots. So I'll just change it to data, where this should be downloaded. Data slash input slash virtual plots. So can I just go ahead and just save it as input SN. I'm just adding the values. Control K, str input file path. Okay, so here we go with input file path. So instead of just adding it over there, I just updated it to a input value and I just read it. So can we just read the range using workbook activity to read whatever data that's downloaded? Str input file path. Okay, if you just see with the input file path that we have, this is config sheet. Okay, this is sheet 1 and we can have any amount of data, right? There is no requirement that we should have only A1 to A10. So I'll remove all the data. So what this data table will be?
DT input.
No, this will be transaction data. That's what I said, right? Every data that's bulk will be transaction data. DT transaction data. Okay, so now we are using data table, so it's DT transaction data. So if you are using list, then it will be I'm not telling the answer. You tell.
array of
If
string.
if it is list of mail messages,
Then it will be list of mail messages instead of
list of mail messages. Correct.
yeah. So now we will add data bulk queue item. So we can see DT data transaction data. And what is the queue name?
Virtual plots.
Virtual plots.
We should not give that. Since we have added that in the config, we should give the key. Okay. So by this time we will have config available, and this is what we'll do. So in future, if we want to change it, we need not go into the code and change it. We will go into the config and we'll change. Okay. Am I clear till now? Just on a
Yeah.
repetition. So this is the
The data
dispatcher
table
sequence.
Sorry.
Yes, tell me, what was that?
That data table variable we didn't create it. It was already there. Huh?
Yes, correct. So we are using existing variables and mapping it. So all these variables will be of use for us. Okay. And this config also we didn't create. Is it right?
Yeah, it is there by default.
It's there by default. So this is HTTP request to download the file. Download file HTTP request. Okay, let's go ahead and run the flow till here and let's see how things are moving on. So I have a breakpoint after this one. Let's go and debug. So debug will start from main always, and debug file will start from that file alone. So what is the expectation?
It should download the file and we should be able to see values in queue.
Exactly. So we have the folder. So this is our input folder, by the way. Let's see. I don't have log activities, so this will be a bit slow. Let's see. Okay, till now this is completed. So all the steps are completed till here. Let's go ahead and see. Virtual plots are already available. And where do we have the Edge browser? So this is our Edge browser. View transactions. Can you see the details? View details. Do you have all the information? Okay. Now we have all the information now. Now we need to get the information from there, right? Till now, whatever we have completed is in the first run. So now we need to write a logic to add the data or to use the data that is available here. Then where do we do that?
The logic is built in process state.
Where do we have it?
The logic is built in process state.
Logic is built in process state. Accepted. Now we have this one. So we have process state, open workflow. Now here we need to add the steps. Okay. So can we just go ahead and record whatever we want?
Yes.
Okay. So for this one, let's use Chrome. Okay. And so what is the URL that we need to open? Let's go to, so this is a new recording that we have and it will detect on auto action. So let's pause it. So what's the URL that we have? This is the URL, virtual plots. Okay. So irrespective of what the values are, with respect to the mobile number, we need to find out the person and we need to check if it is buyer or seller. Okay. And this mobile number is unique, so we will not have any issues. So let's go ahead and start recording. So this is the place and we need to check mark or select or uncheck. So let's see if there is an option to check. Let's do that. Okay. And let's pause it. So what will be the reference for this? So if this is the target buyer, so what is the difference? Can
Name.
mobile number be the reference?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Then recorded steps. So let's go. Enables recording of object libraries and templates. So this will by default enable object libraries. Input method. Okay. So recorded steps are not there. Let's go and complete it. Okay, this is done. So first one is done. Okay, and this is the seller, right? So let's go with seller. So for seller also, do we have anchor position? This one. We need to map it with the anchor only, right? So that's my anchor.
Yes.
And then hit on confirm. Okay. And then if we just scroll down, what do we have? We need to have plot number and as well as square feet. So record again. So this is my plot number. And this is my anchor. So this is my target and this is my anchor. The only thing is I just need to have type into. So if you have type into and then the anchor. So this is my anchor. Okay. So enter. This is the type into. So what is that? Plot number. If you are checking how am I using the modern fields, then check with the free recordings or free sessions that we are having from today. You will have all the information from this. But this is easy. I'm just taking checking type into, and this is square feet, and this is my anchor. Square feet. Confirm. Just pause. Don't show. Got it. So record. So this is done. Okay, and then last one is hit on submit. Click. So once we have this, we need to wait for this particular item. Booking number. So get text is what we use. Get text is for booking number. Okay. Save and return to studio. So this is my recording that I have. So what am I doing? First using the browser. This is the browser that I have. Activity referencing element targeting property. Sure. So we have UI elements also available, if you can see. So the reason why we have added this is if I want to change this in future, if I'm using this at multiple places, I can directly change it in here. But irrespective of that, so what is the requirement that we have? So this is checking of the number, action check, clicking of the number. And if you go into selectors, edit target. Okay, edit descriptor. Just wait for some time. Okay, let's go back to the screen. So this is my screen. Okay, here we have, and edit target, edit descriptor. So these are my options, and see, fuzzy selector is what it selected, but we just need to enable full selector. Okay, and this target is this particular item. Let's check if we are opening it in UI Explorer. Again, if you don't know what is UI Explorer, what is fuzzy selectors and all, wait a second. What is this? So all we need is we need to have this buyer selected. Just a second. Wait for a second. Indicate element. Don't have UiPath installed, I guess. It's just... So how will you check if the extension is added or not? So you need to enable allow access to URLs, everything for both. Okay, let's see if we are doing this. If we enable this, then we'll have all the accessible items available for us. Okay, this is my UI Explorer. Let's see again. Restarting the browser. Indicate element is not giving me the value. Highlight, no. Options. UI automation. Okay, this is not getting selected. So what can we do? Any idea?
Click activity.
Click activity. Okay. So first thing what I'll do is I'll try to uncheck from the object repository. Okay. But even if we uncheck, the problem is with this particular item.
Can you check extension is enabled or not? Again, one more
Extensions
time.
are already enabled, right? The only way is I can go back or fall back with my UI activities, manage packages, and then check with all my UI activities. Let's just update the activities. Testing activities are not required, but UI activities I just need to update. Let's see if this will work. So tell me one thing, what if the bot fails? How will this handle? Let's assume that we have already written all the code. Is it right? So if the bot fails, then what the bot will do? In an ideal scenario, in an enterprise level project, what exactly are you doing?
It will throw a custom exception.
So for system exceptions, it will not throw custom exception. So by default, it will throw system exception. Then it will take a screenshot and it will send it to stakeholders.
Yeah.
Let's wait for these to be connected, and let's also see. Let's also try it with a different browser, IE. So let's just use this one. If you are getting with IE, I will use IE. Yes, even IE is not working. Indicate element. Yeah. Options, default, indicate element. So this is using UI automation point 21.10.4. Okay, now it is selecting the values. Meanwhile, anyone interviewed any interviews? Oh, sorry, anyone attended any interviews till now?
No.
Guys, check with interviews. Only with this training, you will not be able to complete whatever your requirement is. You need to complete the training as well. Remove information screenshot. Edit target. Okay, now we are able to get all the values. So let's go ahead and see. Okay. And this one is over this. So let's edit this one, edit descriptor. So this is my radio button. Edit descriptor. And yeah. So if you see here, there are multiple things that it is mapping. Can you see that it is mapping multiple things? But how can we map only a single thing? If you see here, this is the anchor which we have for the selector. Table row. Let's remove for the selector. Okay. Refresh anchor. So let's remove the anchor. Here we have anchor, the target. Okay, the target is input. Okay, and this is also a selector. Okay. Now let's go with Explorer. Indicate element. Okay, even now this is not getting done. For this filter, we just need to have image. Image we can remove. For this selector, we can remove anchor. We have image we can remove. So this is table row is what we have. Open a new Explorer. We just need to change the values. If this is not working, let's fall back to the previous versions. Okay, this is working now. So can you see this value over here? Table. Tell me one thing. For the selectors, we have this name as static. So if we keep only this value, every time there is a new value, will it select that new value or will it select only this first value?
This first value only.
So to avoid it, we need to send it as dynamic value, and
Star.
it should not be table row, because table row value, this table row can be dynamic. Any row can it come. Okay, but the table column 4 is static because this is what we have. This is column 4. So this is perfect. So let's go ahead and save it. So this is my anchor and the target is input, open a new Explorer. I just want this to be available. Okay, so this will always be in column 1. The first value will always be in column 1. This is the column 1, buyer, right? And I can select the buyer as well. Okay, so this is my first value. And now it is selecting only one item. It's not selecting 100 items. So, and confirm. Okay, element name is this one. Radio button, edit descriptor we have. So in the anchor, what is this value that we can change to? Can you change it as mobile number? Okay, so let's hit on confirm. Yes. So, and then confirm. Okay, save. Now, if you check all the values of this particular item, let's assume that in the variables, let's see if there is a variable created or not. We need to have a variable over here. Variables. str mobile. Let's create a variable called str mobile. Okay, now this is working. So what if we send this value? Which item will it select? So now by default, we check this item, but now we are sending this item. Which radio button will it select? You need to talk, please. Is it easy to understand or not? Just at least tell me that.
Not easy, Bajrang, for me.
Okay, understood. So can we fall back into previous selectors? Let's do one thing. Check. Let's remove object repository completely. Delete. Yes.
So object repository does not work in all the scenarios.
No, it will work. The thing is, you need to understand. Okay, let's go with whatever you understand. So I hope you understand the details about, let's go back, manage packages. UI activities we have, UI automation packages. So 2020.11 update. Okay, so let's see. How many of you worked with modern activities, everyone?
I have worked.
No, did you understand the modern activity that I have explained or not?
Bajrang, I have used this already, so I understand this.
Okay, got it. Can you explain what have we done exactly to the team?
So what if we are using any app or any website in which we have to play with lot of selectors, so in that case we create a object library which contains all the selector, all the buttons, all the text field which you are going to use. So there are two ways. One is auto. In auto way, it will capture all the UI elements and create a object repo. And in manual, it will capture only the required. So you can capture manually required objects from the web page or the app which you're going to use. And once that library is created, you can simply, whenever you want to interact with that tool or web, you can use those elements from the library. So in future, if there is a update on the website, so you need not to change it again and again in all the steps where you have used the object or you are interacting with that particular UI. You can update your object, that library you can update, and the change will be implemented throughout your project.
Okay, thank you. But did you understand the selector changes that we made with the anchor and as well as the edit descriptor? Okay, let's go. So we are going with the legacy items. So let's show classic. In this classic, let's add one thing called attached browser. Okay. In this attached browser, we'll add all our values. So which browser are we using? Chrome. Okay. The next one is to check one item. Check. Okay. Indicate on the element. So we'll check with this particular item. Okay. And then edit selector. Now, how can I indicate this selector, but I just want to add or update only for one item. So if I want to have this one, I can indicate an anchor called mobile number. Okay. And buyer column name, we have buyer. And in this, we have mobile number. Rows can be eliminated because row can be anything. Now, if I validate this one and show highlight element where it will pick this item. Okay, input is buyer, but if you also see, this should be table column. Validate, hide indicate element, sorry. Highlight element is showing me this particular item. Okay, and then type is radio button. We are selecting all the details. Now this is static. If you observe, this mobile number is static that we are adding. What if we add this mobile number? Validate, highlight. Now which one is it selecting? The below one. What if we change it to this one? Validate. Now which one is it selecting? Somewhere at the bottom. Now how can we add this value? So how can we choose a dynamic variable here? You don't know this one also, or please tell. Please don't tell that you don't. Do you know how to use dynamic variables? Yeah, please tell me.
For a dynamic value, instead of the number, we can put star there.
Instead of star will select each and everything, but we need the specific mobile number to be selected, right?
Well,
If you keep star, what will happen? It can select any item of this star, any input from these values. But for this number, it should only select this one. For this number, it should only select this one. So star is a wild character. This is a dynamic selector. Okay, with a variable in place. Now, can you see str mobile here? So if I add this number to my variable, okay, so what this will be validated? I think this is getting updated because of this number. But let's check if the values are getting updated or not. Okay, now that we have all the values in place, can we just run the process and see what's happening? Debug from main. Okay, tell me what we have done till now, at least. What did we do in dispatcher? What did we do in performer? Input selector is not valid. Okay. So what is the mobile number that we are getting over here? Is this seller mobile number or buyer? Okay, let me do one thing. See, I want the value from my orchestrator transaction item to be available in this particular value. So by default, the value will come in transaction item. So to get the value to in transaction item, I will just assign the values str mobile number that should be equal to in transaction item dot specific content of mobile dot toString. So if you see the value over here, this seller mobile number is coming from this particular place. Okay, let's go ahead and check what are the values that we have, and I'll have a breakpoint also over here so that we'll understand. Just ask me the questions as well. I do know that we are done with the training program for today, but ask me the questions. So what is str mobile number that we are expecting? So we have this mobile number. From where this mobile number is coming in? Can you please tell me?
From the queue.
Till now, is it clear for everyone or not? How many of you understood that this is coming from queue and how is it coming? And how many of you don't understand that? Didn't understand that. Vicky says you haven't given full path, but still it's working because that is in the project folder. So that it will work. It's a absolute file path. It's not static file path. Okay, going further, the problem that I have now is, see, I can only have 10 characters in my mobile number. So how can I change my mobile number with 10 characters? So let's go ahead and use str mobile dot split. Okay, and I'm splitting it with space and C of 1. So let's see what this will give me. So this is giving me the exact value that I want. So now I will convert my mobile number using string manipulations to make it whatever I want. How many of you know string manipulations? Unmute and talk.
I know, Ashram.
Okay. So did you understand what I have done? So I'm getting a space as well as a mobile number. Edit view details. So this number is okay, but what about this number? I have +1 and all the details. So what I'll do is I will divide it with hyphen. Okay. And then I will just take the next path, second path. So let's go ahead and try again. str mobile dot split. I'll split it with space C of 1. So will this give me a correct result from the next time or not? So now again str mobile is what I'll see. This is null. Let's add it. Now what's the mobile number? So this is the value. But how will this work now? Can you tell me that?
Just replace hyphens with the null characters.
Replace what?
Replace hyphen with null. I mean, two undercodes.
Okay. Let's stop it. Okay. So what you're saying is, okay, now that I have some value, so can I do something like this? I need to write a lot of logic for here, right? str mobile number. Okay. Let's copy and paste. So edit selector, open in advanced. So before splitting the value, can I just replace, if I replace this with n hyphen with space, what will exactly happen? See, in notepad, I have multiple characters, +91 space 1 2 a 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 6 7 8 7 8 9 10. So if I do this, you ask me to replace this hyphen with null character, is it right?
Yes.
This will come properly. But what if you also have hyphen here? This will not work, right? Okay, so all the inputs, we still have the details to be updated. Let's see with the details. So this is such example. If you use that particular logic, what will happen is this hyphen will be replaced with empty, and you will not be able to separate my +91 with this particular value.
Okay. Otherwise, use hyphen as a delimiter in the split function.
What do we need to use?
Hyphen as the separator in split function.
But if we use hyphen as a separator, let's then this is one value. This is one more
Okay.
value. Okay. So this is one more value. This is one more value. Now, if I take first one only, I will get 666. What about the remaining numbers? Are you able to understand what the problem is right here?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's stop. So everyone, don't work on any other projects. I will give you this code. Try to find out a logic on how to make it work. See, don't go to the complete project as well. All you need to do is you need to make sure that for every button or for every number, the input box is checked. Other than that, nothing. Can you do it and bring it tomorrow for me, please? I'll give you this code, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Udar.
So since I'm using orchestrator queues, you also need to use orchestrator queues. There is no other way. Send to zip. Okay. And I'm uploading this in my Teams folder. So for everyone, virtual plots is the use case that you need to work on for tomorrow. Let's go with Teams file. And yeah. Can you write the code and give it to me tomorrow, please?
Yes.
Okay. Find out the logic, do string manipulations, and for every number, I need to have both this particular. We need to have the buyer as well as the selector selected. Okay. Do these two things and bring it tomorrow. Or if I'm going with this, I'm going with this. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see the remaining items. See, now we are going out with the code. So someone Vicky said that string dot substring of dot minus len. Okay. So again, Vicky, this will not work every time because you need to consider many other characters. Okay. So even the testers need to work on this code. So don't just do testing now. This is the last week of our program. You need to work on each and everything. Even the solution architects, even all the developers and the testers work on the code. I have given you the code. So create an orchestrator queue and work with that. This will work. Okay. I'm stopping the recording.